react, I just react. If you know, you know, man. But anyways, today, bro, it take a lot of courage to do this. Though, like for real, like most guys wouldn't be able to do this. But I'm trying to figure out why he in a wheelchair. First of all, I'm thrown off by that. But today, like, share, comes. Hate it if you hate it. Like it if you like it. And if you have anything you think I should react to, let me know down below and I'll check it out. But today we gonna be reacting to a recovered pornography addict, Matthew. Take a lot of courage to admit that, bro. Most guys wouldn't be able to do it. I don't do it, man. Whatever, bro. Anybody that's watching talking about I don't do it, you lying. You lying. And if you really don't, well, that's good. Cause I know I don't. But let's get to it. At least, I know I'm way better than I was when I was 14. I tell you that. Way better. Alright, that's not it. That's not. Alright, let's get it.
All right, Matthew.
Hi.
Matthew, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I actually came here from Orange County, California, born and raised. I was born in Anaheim, and I pretty much have been here for the first 25 years of my life. I'm 38 now, and I moved out from California when I was 25, and I went over to Dallas, Texas, and I've been there for 14 years. And just recently, I had moved over to Las Vegas, and I have been there for less than a month.
So you're living in Vegas now?
I live in Las Vegas. So I'm pretty happy about it. I love just being a rideshare driver. I do rideshare Lyft. I didn't really know on how big rideshare has been over in Vegas and how profitable it can be. And I moved there when I was, doing rideshare over in Dallas Fort Worth, and I make about $20 an hour. And it sounds great and all, but when it takes out gas of a vehicle, that's about a fifth. So I was only really bringing home $180 to $200 out of my profit wise in my pocket every day. And if you just think about all the necessary things, if you had a regular job, it would be the same amount of money, $17 to $18 an hour. So it really wasn't really high of a gain. And I still have driving 7 days a week. I drive 7 days a week, all the time, every day, and all day. And
I gotta take a day off, bro. I got to. I don't know what him. I need one. I don't care what you say. You can call me lazy. I don't care. I don't give a damn. I need one. But as far as on here, I should be on here every day. Or every other day. I should be on here. Spread it out like that.
With just exceptions of a few days here and there. That's what I do, and I love it. And pretty much, I was over in Utah a couple months ago in the beginning of October, and I was inquiring to, get my next step up and graduate. So what happened with that was that I had moved into Google, and how much is the average pay of rideshare drivers in Las Vegas? And it came up for average pay was $138,000. I was like, holy shit, fuck yeah, let's do this. So I pretty much had made plans, and right now I make about,
You believe that?
60 to 70K, which sounds like a lot, but when you start taking out taxes and gas and all that wonderful stuff and auto repairs and supplies, you're only really bringing home about 55. And it sounds, like I said, it sounds great, but being single, that's where I need to start, graduating upward, and it's a good start. So it's a good start. That's what I've been doing, and I like it.
It's great. You've been in a wheelchair for how long?
I've been in a wheelchair for 5 years, and how that happened was my mom on her side of the family was born with neurological disease. They call it Huntington's disease, and it doesn't skip a generation. Now, I pretty much have a 50-50 chance of having that kind of disease, but it didn't happen for me. What happened for me was it was genetics. So I had, at 31 years old, I had been experiencing these neurological issues that would come and go, but primarily they were little muscle twitches. They call them fasciculations in the medical world, but I call them muscle twitches. Something that's easier for like the eye twitch, or something like a bicep. It comes and goes. You're like, the fuck had just happened? You don't really know. So that's it happened 6 years ago, almost going on 7 years ago, and it pretty much just kept on progressing. It progressed, and I was concerned. I went to the doctor. He just looked at me like every normal person, and I'm like, dude, I feel these muscle twitches in my body. But you can't really know what's going on inside your body, and that's kind of like a bizarre symptom to really tell somebody, especially when they don't see it every day. So what I have is rare, and the teachers pretty much looked at me and said, "Oh yeah, you're fine," but I don't feel fine, and I just had to take his word for it. I did get tested for my mom's disease, and I came up negative, which is awesome. But I was still concerned about my symptoms, and it just kept on progressing more and more. And I started to experience, shaking really bad, and it just kept on getting worse. And at the time, I was actually an auto mechanic working at a used car dealership. And everybody knows when you're working blue collar, whether it be in the kitchen, the sales floor, anything of the trades, like you got to be 100% all you. And so I was really concerned of like trying to hide that from everybody. It's like, hey, I got some issues, but I can't tell you. So that just kept on getting worse, and then eventually I started having seizures, and it just grew out of control. I had like multiple, like 150 to 200 seizures in a night.
What? That's crazy.
And then I was put out with Ativan. That happened, and then I'm like within a month, I was trying to like get my head wrapped around the idea of like what was going on with me, and I just pretty much I was getting bizarre symptoms. I had loss of speech. Was like,
today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp.
How's it been going?
If you're speaking talking, you can go to Chicago. You'll be a therapist, and now back.
What the hell? And I couldn't like speak for like 20 minutes. What the fuck just happened? Like, and I couldn't like speak for like 20 minutes. Like, what the hell? It kind of freaks you out. Like, what the heck's going on here? Or another one was like, I would stare off into space for like 15 minutes, and it's like, the hell just happened? It would just come and go. It was so random. It was so bizarre. And a couple times I'd wake up in the middle of the night. I'd fall over to the side. I'm like, the hell? And then as soon as the very next day, I'm fine. It's like, try telling that to the doctors. They're going to say, "Oh, this is psychological," and that's exactly what they told me. They're like, "This is psychological. You have traumatic past, that you haven't gotten resolved." And I'm like, "Well, I did resolve them, but take your pick. I've gotten arrested. That could be a traumatic experience. I've gone to jail, drug abuse, gotten robbed a couple times. Dying mom. Seeing that fall apart, dysfunctional family." Group homes, and what do you want to do right there, guys? I got a whole entire list of traumatic experiences, and what are you gonna do about it? Like, what can I do about it? Nothing besides just journal it out, talk about it, which I've already tried doing that, and then all the symptoms just kept on coming, and they just kept on progressing worse and worse. And then how more happened within that year was I was a beer drinker, and I didn't know about.
No, oh my God, no, Matthew, not the beer, just oh my God. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I tried that, man. It's nasty, man. Stay far away from that. Don't ever in your life. Don't ever. It's not worth it. It's not. Even if you want to act wrong, it's not worth it. Like, just leave it alone. Like, I don't understand. I don't get it.
What was the underlying issue up until a year later. So in that year, I was seeing neurologists and I was seeing psychiatrists and I was seeing, a couple of physicians, and they all pointed towards mental health. And I'm like, dude, this is not mental health. I can tell you right now, this is a physical problem. I'm trying to tell you guys that. Just test me. Test first, condemn later. That's a mantra in the automotive technical realm. Test first, condemn later. You just don't go ahead and look at a car and say, oh, yeah, it's going to be this, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be that. It's like, no, you don't do that. You have to really test your problem, and then you'll come to that conclusion. But that's actually the proper name for it. A lot of people say, like, oh, I got a misfire. Oh, yeah, it's this. Like, that's exactly what happened with the medical world. They just told me, oh, yeah, it's this. I'm like, okay, well, you didn't really do any kind of testing on me, so, you know. But I grew a bitter taste to the medical realm, and I basically said, fuck you. Up yours. I had cursed I was using profanity a whole lot more. I was very
Up
angry.
yours is nah. Up yours is crazy. Up yours is crazy. I ain't even go. He got me with that one. That's up yours. Up yours, bro. Like that's bro. Next time I'm in a party, I'm gonna say that when I'm in a party on PS5, I'm gonna say that. Up yours. Soon, every time I miss a shot, I'm gonna be like, up yours.
I was very sad that my whole entire life was flipping upside down, and I didn't know why. My ex-wife was very upset. Also, we were both sad. We were both confused. We were going online, didn't even find any answers. And then next year, following in 2019, I woke up with a foot limp. And if you ever heard of your foot falling asleep, that's not falling asleep. It's
Wow, man, like it, bro. Wow, a lot is going on here, man. Like,
paralysis. It's temporary, but that's paralysis, and that's pretty much what happened to me. I woke up out of the blue, and I fell to the floor. I fell to the floor, and I couldn't move my left foot. I could feel it, I just couldn't move it. And knowing that I have a neurological condition, I couldn't tell anybody. And at the time, I was working for Ryder Trucking as a diesel mechanic, and it just pretty much I had to lie. And a week and a half to 2 weeks later, I fell. I had a second foot went out, so now I'm walking with two limp feet, and I could feel it. I just couldn't walk right, and like I was pissed. I was pissed. Going to the freaking the
yeah,
last mental health doctor I went to, he was just talking up a storm. I'm like, no, fuck you, dude. This is the last time I'm ever gonna go to the medical world. I'll just figure this out on my own. Obviously, you guys don't have anything, going for me. And in the automotive realm, the diagnostic strategy, which is actually a very effective way of doing things, is if you have a phantom symptoms, like say you hear a noise in your suspension, but it comes and goes, and you take it to a shop and you put it on the lift, and all the mechanics, and including myself, we can't, what's going on. Then you just pretty much have to wait, and you have to send the customer off with the vehicle and tell them, hey, keep driving it and let it get worse. Well, I don't want it to get worse. Oh, we understand that, but it's a
oh,
phantom
he's talking and okay.
symptom. Everything
Okay.
checks out fine. So we have to let it get worse so we can pinpoint where it's coming from, so we can actually undeniably see it. It's like, okay, this is it. So I knew about this testing method, and I was like, fuck it. Let's just go ahead and let it get worse. So pretty much after like 2 or 3 months of me, losing my ability to walk.
Who said that? Like, who says that? Like, that's bro, that's crazy.
Like my legs getting weaker, and my gait, my balance was getting worse. I pretty much just let it happen. I was like, you know what, just let it happen. And then pretty much we went to the doctor about 3 to 4 months or so. Yeah, like 3 months. I was very emotional, and I basically know that if you want a different result, you're gonna have to do something different. So we went to a chiropractor, and we were doing functional testing, and lo and behold, I actually did have some issues there. I was like, oh fuck yeah, dude, this is great. He actually did some finger to nose test, and that's actually like a functional like brain issue, and I had issues. I was like, freaking A, man, this is awesome. I'm not happy about this, but I'm happy to actually get results. So I finally started getting more testing, and he took a blood sample. And it came back positive for celiac disease. I'm like, the fuck is celiac disease? It turns out that celiac disease is an autoimmune disorder where your immune system, when it comes into contact with gluten, is actually sees your immune system.
Bro, what? No.
system, or it seizes your nerves in your brain and attacks it. Predominantly in celiac disease, it's actually the gut, but there's a very rare small amount of like 5% of people of all of it where it attacks your nerves and your brain. So literally, that's pretty much what happened. I was like a beer drinker, didn't know it had wheat and gluten in it. So basically, I was like, yeah, no shit. Like, this is the reason why my symptoms came and gone. And things just would always just restart and everything go back to normal because I'd be drinking and then I'd go to sleep and I come back like, wake up normal and whatever. It's like, oh, yeah. So there you go. That's the reason why I'm in a wheelchair. I'm literally paralyzed because of food.
And you can't
What?
fix it with your diet?
I did change my diet. I changed my diet from gluten all the way to gluten free. It was not an easy process because there's an emotional tie. Like, oh my gosh, I love pizza. I love pizza. I didn't
How about
know about
walking?
the huh.
How about walking?
Oh yeah, walking.
I like walking more than I like pizza.
Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, when it came down to walking and using my legs, I was just saying, you know what? I'm gonna rock this thing. I already had my mind at 4 or 5 months. I'm like, just give me a fucking wheelchair and let me get on with my.
Why though? Like that, like bro, like, but it's like the future. Like I'm not it's not making sense to me right now, bro. Like it's like he's basically saying he was just preparing for it in his mind. Why would you prepare for it in your mind when like you didn't have to prepare for it? Like I don't know, bro. Like I know I had times in my life where I would get in certain places, but I don't know.
My life, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like sit here
So
and accept.
there's a chance you could walk again?
No, there is no chance. And the reason why I say that is because if you've been in a wheelchair long enough, then your muscles will atrophy. Your brain will actually stop sending signals due to reflex. And then plus, I was already having that nerve damage already to begin with. So it's a part of the genes and it's part of being progressive. And I was already told that once you hit a certain threshold of nerve damage, it becomes irreparable. And when I wake up and I see my legs just atrophied into the sticks and flop, it pretty much is like, okay, yeah, it's a good reminder. It's like, hey, you never want to walk again.
But that's not true though, right?
So that's definitely something that I actually wrapped my mind around. But the good thing is I actually transitioned back into being an auto mechanic. I actually got the office chair right next to a car, and I sat next to it, and I just went to town. I actually did the job, and when I was over at my house with my ex-wife, people kept bringing me their cars. They just didn't care. That's what I loved about it. About the whole transition period from being normal to being handicapped is basically I had the car, and I believed in God then, and I believe in God now. I was like, holy shit, let go, let God, trust, and this is exactly what happened. I went from that to rocking and rolling, and I work on cars still. And I've been an auto mechanic for 14 years, and now average every single year of 6-7 years ago, I average about like 5-6 cars a year, and that's pretty darn good because
your attitude is great.
Oh my gosh, and then now, before, because I didn't know how to do this. Once you're in a wheelchair for a certain amount of time in the beginning, you don't know how to use a wheelchair, getting around in town and going up and down bumps and going off on different types. Huh?
You're very good at getting around in that.
Oh yeah, pop wheelies. I ain't gonna pop wheelie right now, but yeah, definitely. It's definitely something that's a transition. It's very an emotional experience, and I kind of get with the program. Like I said, traumatic past. That's pretty much a part of my life. You know what I mean? Like you just get with the program.
So you've been in the chair for how long?
5 years.
5 years. And
yeah.
you emailed me about being a porn addict.
Yeah.
How does that play into this, or does it not?
Yeah, it does play a part.
Bro, I forgot all about that. I forgot all about that part. We gonna see what he gonna say about this part. That'll probably be it though.
And I actually knew that it was going to play a part in it. So, when I was a kid, I grew up between the 10 or 11 to 13.
I just hope he don't say
I was looking. I didn't get a whole lot of attention as a kid. With my family, my parents especially. My mom was dysfunctional. My dad didn't really do a whole lot good job at being attentive to his kids, and so I lost that attention. I didn't have much of attention. So, having a handicapped mom with neurological, I didn't connect the dots because no one really does when they grow up. And I was actually looking at these girls who were, had broken arms or broken legs, and they were getting all the attention. I was like, dude, like people.
Bro, what? Oh my, like it's like it don't make sense. Like it's like, huh? Why is he saying it like it's a good like of course, yeah, like girls are gonna get attention for when they break their arm or break their leg, but it's like, bro, like what does that have to do with you as a man though? Like I'm not it's not
Were like kids were like helping them out and stuff like that. I was staring, and I'm like, okay. And I was kind of like, I don't know, that around at the time, like your psychosis actually kind of blends together with your sexuology, your sexual identity, and you start to get aroused by certain things. That's pretty much what happened with me. And I was like, all right. So pretty much, I started to hurt myself in private. I started to hurt myself, and I was like, man, this fucking hurts. Like it sucks. I didn't get any too far extreme with it, like break any bones, but I was hurting myself, and like I was kind of like limping around school and all that stuff, and I didn't get the kind of attention. But at some point, it was weird because I was actually kind of like almost like turned on a little bit. But it was interesting.
see, like it's not making no sense. It huh? Huh? What? What? So like he
Interesting to actually get that, and like it started to get out of control. I started to masturbate at the age of 13. When you actually have no one to really help you out with managing your emotions, and you just discover yourself, you discover yourself and find out like it really this is an access. Like, okay, let's go to the bathroom some more. Pretty much what happened. I was like, all right, let's just do this. So, I just pretty much started to grow more and more involved with looking at, handicapped girls and heterosexual. But like I was finding it on TV. I was finding it on TV. I was like, oh, okay, this is great. And then I was like finding it in newspaper print. Like I was finding it in places, that was there, and it wasn't even like I had to go to a porn store. I didn't have to go to a porn store. Like that was it was like it was subtle. It was hidden. Either in public or over here.
huh?
So that's
Bro, what? What is he talking about What is he talking about right now?
where it all started with being a porn addict, and I didn't realize I was addicted to porn. And when I got arrested and got into juvenile hall and stuff like that, I was very lonely, and you don't have girls there, and I wasn't taught on how to date or anything like that with my family, so I pretty much left with my own devices. So I was very accustomed to myself. And that brought a lot of comfort and security, but at the same time, it was kind of making me isolate. And I really started to be more preferred about what I was looking at versus actually go out and date because I was afraid about getting turned down, or I was told I was weird. I was told I was a black sheep in my family. I was like, what the fuck? Why? Like, why am I actually the black sheep? I didn't see myself as a black sheep. Kids are weird, so why am I considered weird? And yeah, it sucked. So being in a part of that whole thing, what happened was that I actually discovered more of the internet. That was around like 96, 98 when I was a kid. I was 10. That's exactly it. And, I actually had started to dabble in girls and leg casts. And believe it or not, there was actually a website for this shit. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, it was crazy. And I found out there was a disability fetish. I was like, huh, okay, this is great. Let's go ahead and stare at this stuff. So it's just like, a whole lot of that visual information coming at me, like girls freaking in different positions and just being occupational. You didn't even have to look at their boobs or their butts or any of that stuff to get turned on. I was like, holy shit, like okay. And that was pretty much like an oddity. I didn't realize that was an oddity. It was like a normal thing for me. I was making excuses too, like, well, what I'm into is not necessarily bad. What I'm into is actually fine. That was actually not the case. And then, going to jail and getting released and actually having an open website, open in the internet when I was actually with my grandparents. I was actually coming out of jail, and in Orange County, they actually let you go county parole on a technicality. So I was on state parole, but I actually had gotten from probation in the county jail. I never went to prison. And after doing my last violation, I never wanted to go get arrested. I never wanted to get pulled over ever again. I never wanted to do anything stupid. I got arrested for one drug charge that lasted for me for my whole entire year and a half to 2 years about going in and out of jail. Just one charge, and it was a felony. So there you go. But like, I'm a little shit. I'm a little weenus. I'm 19 years old. I've never gone to prison before. I don't want to go to prison. Like, hell no. So what did I do? I went and isolated myself with the internet in my grandparents' house. Like, that's fucking bad news right there for a guy like me and a porn freak, and like really wanted to get involved with myself once again. Like, oh yeah, that was free access, man. And I love World of Warcraft. Don't get me wrong, World of Warcraft was cool. I would literally wake up, get on the computer like 2 feet away, and when I was able to, get on 2 feet away, drink my beer, and then have a good time. Like literally, yeah, and then what do? Oh yeah, just cascade the window, put that to the side, minimize it, and then just go. There you go. There's my porn. They actually have a .com instead of Pornhub. They actually have like BrokenAngels.com or CastedMemories.com. I was like, holy yeah! And I was so poor, I didn't even actually buy the membership. I just straight got the sample photos, and I started collecting them. I started putting them away, but I did not know also. When you're an addict, I also had a drug addiction that was past. I did not also know that I actually had switched from a drug addiction to a porn addiction. I did not know that either. And so when I actually did these little rituals, I put them away, and then I would use that when the internet was not there. So I was like, all right, I got freaking free access, and I didn't have to pay for it. This is awesome.
Have you ever had a girlfriend?
I did have girlfriends. I did have plenty of girlfriends that were not really plenty. I had like 5 girlfriends. My ex-girlfriend is now married to my brother, and that's a separate story.
Bro, what? Nah. No way. Did he just say his ex-wife is married to his brother? Are you kidding me? That doesn't even make sense.
Story for another time, but I will tell you that she was actually my first girlfriend, and
Wow,
I just pretty much
that makes it even worse.
became very obsessed or infatuated as a kid. That was like my first love, so I didn't really know how to be. And then I actually had done a couple of dating. It was like less than like a month or so. I had another one that was a little longer term, and that was like 10 months. We never worked out, but we actually had been appropriate, pretty respectful about it. And then after that, I met my ex-wife. So none of these girlfriends, other than my ex-wife, knew that I actually had an attraction to disabled people, girls. I actually just always thought it was a thing.
So the attraction to disabled women was long before you were ever in a wheelchair.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the trippy part. That's the twist. They have a different name.
Nah, we gotta stop this. He going too far. That's too far. I'm sorry, bro. I have to. That's too far, Matthew. I cannot continue the video. I will catch y'all in the next one. This is just no. That's too far.